Hey guys, here I am with my first impression. The KD12. Super pumped about this shoe. A couple things I'm excited about. First thing I'm super excited about is the full-length Zoom Air in this shoe. It's right underneath this little padding right here in the shoe. And it kind of reminds me a little bit of like the Jordan 31 with full-length Zoom, and it was unlocked. This Zoom Air isn't unlocked, but it is supposed to give you a feel similar to an unlocked Zoom. The other thing I'm super excited about with the shoe is the fly wire in this shoe, actually, believe it or not. We all know what fly wire is for the most part, and that it usually connects along the laces over here and kind of goes into the footbed, helps you pull in the shoe. With this shoe, the fly wire, I think they should actually call it spider wire or web wire. Reason I say that is because instead of just going straight down the shoe, it actually goes in all directions in the shoe. It goes across this way, it's all connected, and it's all around the entire shoe. I can see it inside everywhere. And so the idea with that is instead of just pulling you this way into the shoe, like this, instead of pulling you this way into the shoe, it's keeping you contained in all directions in the shoe is the idea. I'm excited to see how that is. The third thing I'm excited about with this shoe is, again, it has to do with the cushion, is actually the heel. The Jordan 31 was my favorite setup, and that makes me excited to wear this shoe. The problem with the Jordan 31 was I had two pairs. I bottomed out in both. I bruised my heel, and it couldn't recover until I put on a new pair of shoes and played in those. Well, this shoe has a hex pod right here down in the heel. Ideally, not only do you have the full-length Zoom cushion all throughout the shoe, but then you have another heel pod here to give you even more cushion. So those are the things that I'm excited about most with the shoe. What am I curious about the shoe? Well, I'm curious about the other part of the cushion. The full-length Zoom is on top of another layer of foam. And I'm curious how that's going to feel. Will you feel the bounciness of the Zoom Air? Will you feel the squishiness, or maybe like the sink-in feeling sometimes that you get with foam compound? Will you feel both of them? What are you going to get with that? Will it be too much or too little? On top of that, they also hollowed out this foam. And so if it wasn't hollowed out, it would probably be a pretty solid base on the shoe here. And the reason I say that is because the foam wouldn't have anywhere to expand. It's contained around the entire shoe except for right here. And so the foam wouldn't expand. And then maybe you'd feel a lot of the Zoom Air, and you wouldn't feel much of the foam. But in this shoe, they corded out. There's tons of holes on the bottom of the shoe. And so ideally, I imagine when they made this, they're thinking that this shoe is going to expand inwards, compress inwards, instead of compress outwards, giving you that foam compression feeling in a contained shoe. I'm also curious about the front of the shoe right here. They have this rubber around the entire shoe, and it's at the toe as well. And I've been slamming my toe in front of my shoes recently, so will this new fly wire, quad axial fly wire, contain me enough to where I don't slam into the front of the shoe? And if I do, is this solid rubber gonna hurt? The last thing I'm curious about is the lack of an outrigger on this shoe. I don't know if I'm not sure if it's a lack of an outrigger, but when I put it on just to try it on, I didn't feel rocky, but I also didn't feel perfectly stable at first either. There's some shoes where I can put them on, and when I just kind of lean it a little bit, you kind of know it's not a good shoe right away. I didn't get that feeling, but for whatever reason, I did get like a little bit just a question, like, am I going to stay solid here, or is it going to want to roll at all? I'm hoping the answer is no. The last thing I'm questioning in the shoe is actually the traction of the shoe. The traction is these vertical lines going down the shoe. They're slightly angled, but they're vertical lines. I imagine this traction is going to really grip when I'm cutting left or cutting right. But is it going to grip when I'm cutting straight? I think it was the LeBron 15s that had those really pronounced nubbies on it that really worked for stopping front and back, but didn't stop as well for stopping left and right. This isn't as pronounced of a traction, but it is a very vertical traction, and we'll see what that does for stopping front and back. Let's go over one area I'm concerned about. While I'm really excited about the full length zoom, how it's top loaded on the shoe, I'm actually kind of concerned about what type of zoom they have in here. They actually have essentially articulate, I think they call it articulated the zoom by fusing parts of it together or heat welding parts of it together. And so instead of having one just long air pocket through the shoe, they actually have it fused or heat welded. So you have a small air pocket right here, a small air pocket right here, a small one, and so on, similar to the Kyrie 5. And I'm curious how that's going to make it feel. Do you feel the transfer? You're not going to feel the same transfer of air from the back to the front and from the front to the back as you transfer your weight from one to the other. So those are my quick thoughts right now on the shoe. Next step is, of course, to play them and see what we see. What do you guys think about the design here? Do you like how it looks? Do you like the simplicity in it? I'm kind of digging the simplicity of the shoe as well. Well, let's get playing. So what type of feel are you going to get there as well? You have the full-length zoom, which is articulated a little. It's supposed to feel like it's unlocked a little, but it's also riding on a bed of foam as well that is cored out so that it will also expand and feel cushiony as well. So as I'm talking here, I actually kind of think like maybe they had to put the foam on the bottom with the full-length zoom and having it heat welded. If you don't have the foam on the bottom, you might not get a nice smooth ride. And so maybe they actually needed to have the foam underneath to give you a smoother ride. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think that the design called for it to be made this way? It's not React as far as I know, so they're not forcing a foam in there like they did last year. So what does it mean for the shoe? What do you guys think? Are you excited for the technology in this shoe, or kind of their remake of technology, or borrowing technology from other shoes and bringing it here? Do you like the design of the shoe? Do you like how it looks? I didn't really mention the materials much, but do you like that it's kind of actually, do you like that the shoe essentially has window mesh, small window mesh on here? That's what it's like. It's like you open up the window and look into the shoe. No bugs are getting in your shoe. That's the good news. I guess maybe there's a lot of breathability because of that potentially, depending on what's on the inside. I never thought of it until right now as far as window mesh. I don't know if that's the right term. Window mesh, is that right? I do like how the shoe looks. It's very simply designed, and it's a simple design, but it's kind of layered in a way that looks kind of cool. You see I'm calling it the spider wire underneath it a little bit when you're looking at it close. They actually have some texture on the Nike symbol here, which is kind of cool. And it's dotted out so you can tell that there's a texture there. The tongue is really pillowy, which will be interesting. You don't see that on a shoe that often. At least not like this. Not I haven't worn one with a pillowed tongue like this in a long time, I don't think. Last question, is this what a James Harden with boost and air would look like and maybe feel like? I think that's a good question.